Hi, this is Stacey Ray, your friendly healing neighborhood healing tattoo artist. I have very, very, very exciting news today. I'm having a really hard time keeping myself calm and collected, so I'm not even going to try. So I just finished my book on Friday. I wrote a new book. I've been working on it for quite some time. It's the culmination of a life of experience and love and passion for tattooing, and a real interest in unifying tattoo artists because we have this opportunity to make a really positive impact on our clients' lives. And that's going to take dedication to the craft, learning well, learning right, learning under somebody who is really dedicated to your excellence. I've had really good mentors I'm super grateful for. And really just honoring your craft over time. So I have been through a lot of trauma. And I've learned a lot about trauma and healing from said trauma. And I really have withheld a lot of this, the nitty gritty of it for me, and only shared a lot of this stuff with people that I've mentored, people that I've made to sign an NDA so that they can't share it irresponsibly with other people, because we can cause healing experiences and we can cause harmful experiences just as easy. So in honor of Mental Health Month, I'm going to share a little bit from my book with you guys here today. We're not going to do a reading. I might do one of those cheesy by the fireplace things later just for the fun of it. But right now, I'd just like to share a little bit because I decided to extend my pre-sale. And I decided that in honor of Mental Health Month, more and more and more tattoo artists should become trauma informed. And so I'm going to give y'all $11 off of my book for the rest of the week. And if I post this, I'll post a link to that in it. The code is trauma. And without further ado, let's talk a little bit about my book here. Ooh, wait a second. Should I share it with you guys? Should I share it with you guys? I could do a screen share. Oh, I'm gonna do a screen share. I'm gonna go through it pretty quickly, so I'm gonna go through it pretty quickly. We're just gonna look at a couple pages here. Oh, this is exciting. Dun, dun, dun. All right, so we're gonna help our clients turn pain into power, turning trauma, helping clients rewrite their trauma and turn trauma into beauty. And I have created the A.R.T trauma release technique, which I'm going to just barely outline here, but I'm going to be teaching more and more and more about this. This is my calling from now on. This is going to be where I focus on. The way to help a client live their best life and step into their own power and their own empowerment and their ability to make a positive impact on the world around them is by helping them release trauma. And what we don't realize as tattooists is that if we're tattooing over a trauma site, like for example, areola tattooing over breast amputation, even stretching the skin can send our client into the stress response. So I'm going to help people understand a little bit more about how to handle that. And so we have a little bit on tattoo history, trauma, body dysmorphia, triggers, release, intention setting, of course, integration, the technique itself. I have contributions by some of my friends and mentors, Mark England, Jennifer Denman, Nicole Rizzuto, and Amber Amaru have all kind of contributed a little bit. So we'll just go through that. What is a healing tattoo? What is a healing tattoo? And what does it take to be a healing tattoo artist? So you guys have heard me talk about this a little bit while I was building this kind of intro to the book on what does it take to become a healing tattoo artist. There's 3 areas that we have to have mastery over. One of them is artistic ability. Of course, tattoos have to look good. If we're doing restorative tattooing, it has to look realistic. If it looks dotty or if it has an outline, this doesn't look like a real nipple, then how is that going to help our clients heal? Right? So artistic ability comes first because we start everything we do in the tattoo world, we start on paper before we go to skin. Now, technical skill set is another important element because you have to be able to technically put in a sound tattoo that's going to heal well. And we're working on scar tissue that's even more challenging than most tattoo artists realize. And that's why I think so many tattoos are turning out kind of poorly, 80% of survivors that we surveyed were less happy with their body after they got their tattoos. And I know that all of those tattooists have taken training and got their certificates, you know. So what we have to do is we have to deepen our commitment to growing our skill set. And then a trauma triage is a term that I came up with. I was trying to think of like trauma informed, trauma awareness. I learned a lot from Gabor Mate. I recommend that you guys follow him. And also Byron Katie, who Mark England told me to follow. And the term that I decided to stick with was trauma triage. And the way that I thought about it was because a triage nurse, if somebody comes into the OR, a triage nurse will, if the person is bleeding, the first thing you have to do is stop the bleeding. If the person can't breathe, the first thing you have to do is get them breathing, see if you can get them breathing and resuscitate them. So when somebody is having a stress response, having a trauma trigger, the first thing that we have to do is address the stress response. And you need all three of these things, mastery in all three of these things before you can call yourself a healing tattooist. Now, one of the reasons that I have been kind of like hoarding these ideas and only talking about this stuff with people who signed an NDA with me is because I was really worried that this would be brought into the world irresponsibly, that people would see the term healing tattooist and be like, healing tattoo artist, without any real understanding of trauma. And that's why I wrote this book. So why get a healing tattoo? Obviously, there's different reasons. Some of them are emotional, some of them are physical. Tattooing has been used as a therapeutic for thousands of years. And we just want to kind of honor tattoo history and bring that into modern day tattooing responsibly, because of the potential that we have to cause harm to our clients. Tattooing is not a beauty service. It's an ancient and sacred art and a medium all its own. It's one of the oldest professions. And if you're a tattoo artist, if that's how you make your living, how lucky are you? Tattooing has been through some dark times. We're trying to bring love back into it. Nicole speaks a little bit about Auschwitz. And then we come into modern tattooing. And then we're going to talk about trauma. What is trauma? What kinds of trauma are there? Developmental trauma and shock trauma. How are they held in the body? The emotional layer, the muscle layer, and the ego layer. The ego layer is where we form a negative or limiting belief pattern around what we learned from going through the trauma. And if we learn something that really negative about life, that life can't be trusted, that life is scary, and we didn't have the support system that we needed, and we adapted that belief system, it comes into the ego layer, and we decide to treat life as if it's scary. And we build walls and we push people away, and maybe we're mean to people because we think they're mean to us, or we judge people because we think they're judging us. And trauma can inspire that belief system. And where do we store it in our body? There's 7 different belts that align with the chakras. And I wrote a book to help you guys understand that. I wrote a book and put it in here about the dark night of the soul. And I share with you some stuff about my dark night of the soul and what I learned and what I went through to learn that, how much of a personal cost it came to me to learn what I'm teaching you guys here, and why it's so important that you learn from somebody who understands. Because the worst thing that you can do, the biggest mistake that you can make, it's say if you're working on a breast cancer survivor who's also going through a divorce at the same time as she's trying to reclaim her body, and you're working on the trauma site of nurturing, where she didn't nurture herself and where she didn't receive the nurturing that she needed during that journey. And she starts telling you about her husband and his new girlfriend who's young and has natural breasts and doesn't have the marks of life, like having babies, and she starts telling you how she feels about that. I have actually seen a PMU tattooist that I used to work with say to her client, oh, don't worry about him. You didn't need him. You're better off without him. Said that shit. So you know what that teaches that client that was being very vulnerable in that moment? What that taught her was that it's also not safe to express her feelings and that she doesn't deserve to feel the way that she feels. And even worse than that she didn't have a right to the support that he vowed to. He took a freaking vow and abandoned her in her time of need. And you think it's professional to say, oh, don't worry about him. You don't need him. You look great. Can you guys understand how easy it is to make these little mistakes without realizing that we're doing it? All of us have done it, myself included. None of us are above these mistakes, but when we can start to handle our clients more responsibly, then we can empower them more effectively. And to share it with you guys. And you understand why this means so much to me. And please, by the end of the week, please, if you buy the book, you'll get a signed copy. You'll be one of the first shipments to go out. As soon as they come in, I'll sign everybody, all the pre-orders. I'll be putting so much love into it. I'll be doing all the things I say in the book. I'll have a little candle going. I'll sound bowl over the books. I'll clear the energy. I'll infuse some positive intentions into the energy of the book for anybody who picks it up and looks through its pages to receive the magic of the power that we have to make a positive impact on each other and help turn our world into a better place. We're going through individual traumas these days. COVID has brought a lot of trauma upon us. People have lost a lot of people. There's been a lot more suicides. Kids are self-harming more now than they ever have. And I'll be doing some sage over the books, and I'm just going to put so much love into all those pre-orders before I take them out to ship them. And I would just love for you to receive that energy. And I think that when you get your little book and you open it up, you'll know that it's in there. And that energy will always be in those pages because it's wood, it's the wood element. The energy that I put into love for you and helping you support your clients better will always be, every time you pick that book up, that energy will be in it. That's my intention for you. That is my share for you. And that is my gift to you. And I'm so freaking excited to share this with you guys. It's like everything in my life makes sense now with this book. Everything that I've been through, everything that I've done, everything that I've learned, every conversation that I've had with somebody who's helped me expand my perspective is all to give you guys this book and help you make more love in your craft and more helping your clients free themselves from the blocks that hold them back. I love you all. You have no idea. You have no idea how much I love you guys.